people can start losing weight just by making better decisions.
Motivation is driven from the inside out.
Use flexibility as a tool. Rely on structure when it's helpful.
This is where we discuss the possibilities.
Hey guys, Kori Propst here, and I'm with Dr. Joe Klemczewski, as always, president of the Diet Doc, and welcome to the Life Mastery Podcast. Today we're going to talk about eating while traveling. I love this topic, Joe, because it's one that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially if they have goals of losing body fat and continuing with their training on a sort of structured schedule. And how do we stay consistent? How do we stay persistent in situations when things are a little less in our control?
I could not agree more. And for our macro mastery segment this week, I brought up this topic because not only did I get a couple major questions on it just yesterday from clients, but I know it's a question that we probably get daily in our company in some capacity. One of our program owners is on our owner forum asking this question, or clients inundating us with the same question. So I thought it would be great to have some kind of a formal explanation of strategy building for this, because there really is not one clear answer. But I love that you said it's something that we struggle with because we could be engaged in a program. We want to stay on track. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, though, we don't. Sometimes it's a vacation and you want to relax a little bit, but you don't necessarily want to gain a bunch of weight back. So
Yes. I just sorry to interrupt you, Joe, but yeah. I just started yesterday with a client who she said to me, we're literally leaving in a couple days to go on a two-week vacation. Should I wait to start with you until I get back? And, my sort of patent answer is no. No, because I don't want you to come back 10 pounds heavier and have to lose that weight too. How about you and I dive right in and let's talk about how you can go there, enjoy the foods that you love, how to, order off a menu, do all the things that are going to help you come back feeling confident that you can now take greater steps. But so it's going to be a process with us of strategy building, but not to significantly limit her and get really, really strict while she's on, quote, vacation.
Right. So I would say, first define exactly what your goals are for this trip. Mm-hmm. And let's look at maybe two or three different scenarios. Mm-hmm. I remember one time going on my first family vacation ever, married, 2 little kids. And it was 2 weeks before I was to compete at the Amateur World Cup, where I won my pro card. So this goes back a ways. Mm-hmm. But it was 2 weeks before that show. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to say no to my vacation. Mm-hmm. So I ate perfectly on the trip, but it was still with some flexibility. But I still had to strategize for that. So keep that as one bucket we're going to talk about, is when you really do need to be perfect, but you can still use some flexibility. Sure. Then there's the client that you just mentioned who's like, man, I'm going on vacation. There's no way I'm going to eat, nothing out of, my quote meal planning or diet. Mm-hmm. I'm going to indulge. So let's figure out how I can do the least amount of damage or come back in neutral. So that's the other extreme. And then what about in the middle, where I'm chugging along, I'm in a program, and I'm in a routine of consistency and a rhythm of weight loss, or, whatever my goal is. And trips are going to come up. We're going to travel for work. Holidays are going to come up, things like that. So I still need to be able to stay on track, but I've got a little wiggle room. Mm-hmm. So are you okay with those kind of 3 places to start?
Definitely. And I could share my own stories of being a few weeks out from a competition and being away for 2 weeks and what that looked like and required me to do, as well as just like right now in my life, not necessarily moving towards body fat reduction, but wanting to feel my best, stay on track, have great energy, and not come back having gained a bunch of weight. So,
so let's start there. Let's start with the most aggressive. I'll tell you what my strategy was, because I know yours will be better and more disciplined. But back when I was, I guess I was 25, 26 years old, I'm up in the UP of Michigan, living in a hotel for 10 days. And after I got back, like I said, I was going to be on stage in 2 weeks. So I took all of my protein powder. I took oatmeal. I took rice cakes. I took protein bars. I took dried fruit. I had my macronutrient plan, my macro profile scheduled out so that most of my meals could be what I would routinely do and still be kind of convenience based, having the protein powder and that kind of thing. But if we were going out to eat, let's say lunch and dinner every night, it was just a chicken breast salad. You know, no cheese, no dressing, chicken breast salad, chicken breast salad, chicken breast salad for 10 days straight. And, you know, I was motivated and it worked. I did not feel deprived. I was not sneaking ice cream cones with my kids or something, because my goal was here and I was that close to it. So I was not going to screw up. So it can be done, I feel, in any situation if that is clearly your goal. We're going to talk about the easier scenarios, but tell me about your process when you just absolutely need to be on the money.
Yeah, well, the thing that my brain pinged when you said I wasn't taking licks from my children's ice cream cones is the environment plays a huge role, and who you're with is going to really influence your process. Yes, go in with the goals, the plan, the structure, and be thinking about what is going to be going on around me and what are the people around me going to want to do and how are they going to influence my process. I fortunately was on a trip with Michelle Shepard, Michelle Gomes, who is our owner in Elk Grove, California. It was for her 40th birthday. And so fortunately, she's been in physique competition and has, dieted for years with those goals in mind. And so was very cognizant of the structure that I would need. And so was incredibly supportive. But like you too, I packed as much food as I possibly could. I would go to grocery stores along the way because we were road tripping it. But I did. I ate out every single night for dinner, and it was just like you. I knew exactly what I was going to order it, how I was going to ask for it to be prepared, and pretty much had the same thing every single time. But, I think when the goal is that strong and the values that we have towards the goal are that intense, it's not a matter of, oh man, I have to eat the same thing again. It's more, I am choosing this for me to be my best. Like, I have a choice in this. I chose to do this. This is my goal. No one else is making me do this. So,
and success begets success. Even on vacation, you can feel good. Like like you said, I did not feel deprived. I could see myself getting leaner. I knew I was on track. I was still, working toward my goal. And that made me happier than if I would have been just shoving a bunch of crap down my throat and sabotaging my goal.
There's that, Joe. And on the exercise front, because I knew during vacation, my exercise was going to look very different than it does at home. But the choice is, am I going to exercise or am I not? Just because it's going to look different, does that mean that it's going to be bad or wrong? Absolutely not. I had my running shoes. I was doing a ton of running, less weight training, because there wasn't always a gym available. So I think, for our listeners and our viewers too, it's ask yourself the question, is just because it's different, does that mean it's wrong or bad or isn't going to necessarily be effective?
Right. So option one is, if you are absolutely committed to your current state of goal pursuit, then you can absolutely use your same macronutrient profile and stay on track. You can do it. You can find the food. When I've taken week-long trips before for school or work, I can hit a grocery store, fill up my hotel room, and eat almost identical to home if that's my goal. So that's absolute maniacal, insane, hitting your goals no matter what. That's option one. That's a possibility.
And strategy, Joe, I mean, I had a scale with me. When your goal is that intense, I had a food scale with me. There's a great travel one called Joseph. You guys can get in touch with me, right? And
only the best.
I had my body weight scale with me too. Now, is that always practical? No, it's not.
That's a little weird.
It's not, but I know plenty of individuals who are prepping for a contest, and if you're that close to it, who will do that? Yes, I get a little maniacal, but it doesn't necessarily get in the way of me having a good time and, you know, getting all OCD about it, although Joe may argue with you. But.
All right, so category 2 is we're in a programming mode and we're still going to stay on track, but we're going to roll with the punches. So, for example, I've got a quick little trip coming up, and this is not uncommon. It's, you know, probably a couple times a month I'm on the road. And my goal is pretty similar. I can fit almost an entire week's worth of food in 1 gallon Ziploc bag because it's going to be individual serving sizes of protein powder. It's going to be protein bars. It's going to be individual size of trail mix. You know, anything I need for my breakfast in a hotel room. I always eat breakfast in the hotel room. It's a little bag of trail mix and a scoop of protein powder. Then I'm going to have a protein bar as a snack. I'm going to have a granola bar as a snack. That's my food for the day that's packed and planned. Mm-hmm. Now all I need is a high protein lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. And again, I might not be as insanely in tune with every single macro as I would be if I was, you know, that close to a goal. But my goal is still to maybe be maintaining my weight or maintaining my progress. So this is where I'm going to start adjusting my macros a little bit to fit my travel. So I know inherently I'm going to be getting a little bit less protein on the days I'm traveling. And therefore I'm going to probably have, and it's because I'm having fewer meals, mm-hmm. but I'm also going to at some point either have more carbs or more fat, usually more fat, because mm-hmm. you're going out to dinner, you're going to have maybe salad dressing, that kind of thing. And it is a choice, you know, I don't have to, but I do love to eat a good cheeseburger on the road if there's a good, you know, steakhouse place we're going.
Yeah.
So I will make that choice to say, okay, my protein's down a little bit fewer meals. So my fat is going to make up for perhaps a little bit fewer carbohydrate, calories, and protein. So I can plan that and adjust it, but still be on track. So
yeah.
Do you
so
do
when you
like
say, well, when you say on track, then you mean calorically for
yes.
the day. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I think that would surprise a lot of people who are tracking their macros, that you can kind of level up one and decrease the other, but ensure that you're still staying within that caloric range that's going to be important for you in terms of weight maintenance.
Yeah, a good example was we were just in Nashville a couple weeks ago for our mm-hmm. annual conference. And not only are we busy, but we're running it. And mm-hmm. so, you know, we ate, or at least I ate 3 times a day. I had breakfast before the conference, lunch was catered in, dinner was either catered in or we were out. Those are the only 3 times I ate for 3 days in a row.
Yes.
So I made sure that each one of those meals had some protein, mm-hmm. and probably at lunch and dinner was a little bit more than I would normally eat, just because I needed more calories to sustain me, and you know, a little bit higher fat because mm-hmm. again, it's food somebody else is preparing. You can always count on fat being a little higher. So I came back from that trip, you know, the exact same weight. I didn't gain weight, but I didn't lose weight because I wasn't eating enough. I just simply adjusted, rolled with the punches, and did fine.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm at events too, I do find I'm eating fewer meals, just like you mentioned, and I have much bigger spaces in between the meals that I do eat. 3 is pretty typical for me as well. just because you're going, you're running around, there are scheduled meals, there isn't time necessarily to do any snacking, and you're not even really thinking about food in that case because you're focused on other things and taking care of people. But yeah, for people who enjoy tracking their food, do you recommend that, that's something they just continue doing even when they're away and not in their normal routine?
I think when somebody has a goal, and of course we're working with a lot of clients around the world who are wanting to continue in their lane of goal acquisition. So I would say absolutely track it just so we're not surprised by the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just seeing blanks for several days and you gain 2 pounds or you lost 5 pounds, we have to guess what happened. But if we're seeing like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize 8 ounces of prime rib had this much fat, then we can number one, learn some lessons, but then it also, I think, makes you create better decision opportunities, which
Mm-hmm.
was one of the points I would make in this category. Even if you're not controlling all the food you're given, at least in every situation, make a conscious best decision.
Mm-hmm.
These are my stated goals. Just because I'm traveling doesn't mean those goals went away. So even if I planned something out and now that's going askew, how can I at least make the best conforming decision to my goals that I can make?
Yeah, I have a question that I ask myself and that all my clients begin adopting. It's, what may I influence right now? And I think one of the things too, just in terms of strategy, is if you know where you might eat while you're gone, start looking at the menus ahead of time. So you can make mental notes about how you might modify things, pick 2 or 3 meals that you could choose from, and think about how you might order. But that's something that I used to do early on too when I was very, very new to food tracking, is I would look at the menus of foods and practice deciding like what I was going to order ahead of time.
That's good. So category 1 was, I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm going to find the food. I'm going to plan it. My meals stay the same. It's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Category 2 is, I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to adjust my meals. I may even have to trade some macros to stay in the same calorie range, but I'm staying on track, but being flexible. The third category is, it's vacation time. I'm drinking margaritas every day, and I just don't want to come back having gained so much weight that I'm just depressed and ready to shoot myself in the face.
So we're getting progressively higher in the amount of flexibility that we're giving ourselves and incorporating.
Absolutely. So in that situation, I still want to have some governance in my decision making so that I'm not unhappy with the outcome. So in a client situation where they're going on vacation, I would say, okay, look, can you have maybe 1 meal a day where you're kind of indulgent, but then the rest of the day you're still, even though you're flexible, you're making good decisions. If I'm having breakfast, I can still have egg whites or oatmeal or protein powder with my oatmeal. I can still have a salad at lunch. I can still do these things and then have a nice, indulgent, great meal. I don't have to eat till I'm ready to throw up, but you can still enjoy a lot of decadence and still come back having not regained any weight. That's truly possible. You just have to keep your eye on how much, create those boundaries. What is most important to you in eating? I mean, gosh, I know, I think if you just start eating a bunch of crap, I always make these rules. Like if it's something that is so out of the ordinary, cultural, I could only get it here, then that's going to be way better than buying a bag of Doritos in the hotel room lobby. Like, why would I waste that just because, hey, I'm on vacation? Just like still make good decisions.
Yeah.
So what would you say in that scenario?
Well, I value having some questions to draw on that I can ask myself, and my clients do this too. So what am I going to be doing? What have I already eaten? What have I not had all day long? Is there a certain food that I'm really looking forward to? So it does, by asking those questions, it gives us some parameters to begin making a decision from. And, you know, if we don't have any sort of boundaries or guidelines, then it's just ambiguous. It's too confusing. And then we make the most impulsive decision.
I love what you just said about keeping it in the context of your day, because I've been on vacations where I've thought, well, damn it, I am going to have this gigantic ice cream cone, but that might have been my entire lunch.
Right.
So it wasn't a healthy lunch, and calorically it might be a little more, but it wasn't a lunch plus that.
Yes.
And then other times, I remember it might have been Disney World or some fairish type environment. I remember thinking, okay, I did indulge at this meal. So I think for this meal, I'm just going to have that like turkey leg thing you see people walk around with, like 30-pound turkey leg. So I was an Atkins dieter for one meal, just to make up for, you know, carbs I ate too much at a previous meal.
Exactly.
But all in the context of saying, okay, this is what I ate before, this is what I might be eating next, so this is the best decision right here.
We get so used to doing certain things because we've always done them. A lot of my clients, when I say, you know what, you can just have dessert for dinner. You don't have to have a massive dinner and then follow that with dessert. And they look at me like I'm nuts. Why? Because they've never done it before. They've just never thought of that before. So yes, those questions really help them to kind of look outside the box a bit, as well as make the best decisions.
Yeah. Well, I did not plan on that lining up into three neat categories like that, but I think that kind of worked out pretty well, right? You've got your, you know, staying totally on track, being flexible, but still staying, you know, in your progress mode. And then there's the vacation where you just, you know, want to have fun, but stay neutral, you know, making good decisions. I think that creates a pretty good frame.
The continuum of structured flexibility.
Right. Always the bottom line.
Awesome, Joe. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Hey, like, share, let us know what really is resonating with you about this podcast. We want to capitalize on the things that make a difference in your lives. So thank you, Joe, again, as always.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.